Hey everyone, today we're going to be reviewing for the Module 3 test that is coming up on Tuesday. These questions are very similar to what you'll be seeing, so you might want to pay very close attention. Let's start with number 1. On Friday, Brody bought 5 3/4 kilograms of plant food. He used 1 1/3 kilograms on his grapevines and used 1/2 kilograms on his bamboo plants. How many kilograms of plant food did Brody have left? Write one or more equations to show how you reached your answer. All right, so I see that he has a total of 5 3/4 kilograms. He's using 1 1/3 on grapes and 1/2 kilograms on bamboo. So I want to figure out how much he's using, and then I'll figure out how much he has left. So I'm going to start by kind of like organizing my paper. I'm going to write how much he used here. I know he used 1 1/3 kilograms on the grapes and 1/2 kilograms on the bamboo plants. So I want to start by adding these, but I see these are not the same denominator. So I can list out my multiples, but I do know that my common denominator is going to be 6. So I have 1 and something over 6. Well, I know 3 times 2 is 6, so 1 times 2 is 2. Let's do the same thing here. We know our denominator is 6. Really bad 6, but it's 6. All right, so we see that 2 times 3 is 6. So 1 times 3 is 3. Now we have common denominators we can add. Start by adding the fractions. 2 6 plus 3 6 is 5 6. And remember, if there's nothing in front of a fraction, that means just there's nothing there, so there's no holes. 1 plus nothing is 1. So he used a total of 1 5/6 kilograms of plant food. So now we have to figure out how much he has left. He had started with 5 3/4 kilograms, and he used 1 5/6. So I'm going to organize the rest of my paper and say how much he has left. We started with 5 3/4. We used, which means subtract, 1 5/6. Oh, not common denominators. But I do know my common denominator would be 12. If I need to list out the multiples, I can, but I do know that I can multiply 4 times 3 to get 12 and 6 times 2 to get 12. So we're going to have 5 and something over 12. 4 times 3 equals 12. So 3 times 3 equals 9. Same thing here. We're having a denominator of 12. I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. So 5 times 2 equals 10. Start by subtracting the fractions. 9 twelfths minus 10 twelfths. Oops, we can't do that. So we're going to regroup. We're going to borrow from the whole. So when we do that, we're borrowing 1. So that means we have 4 wholes left. I know that 1 whole can be written as a fraction as 12 twelfths, or 12 over 12. And then I have my 9 twelfths left over. So let's see, 12 twelfths plus 9 twelfths, that's 21 twelfths. So we have 4 and 21 twelfths minus 1 and 10 twelfths. Now I can subtract. 21 twelfths minus 10 twelfths is 11 twelfths. 4 wholes minus 1 whole is 3 wholes. So Brody has 3 and 11 twelfths kilograms of food left. So I'm looking back at my question and seeing if I answered it. How many kilograms of plant food did Brody have left? I have it right here, 3 and 12 kilograms. Write one or more equations to show how you reached your answer. Here's one equation, here's my second. So I know I've answered all parts of the question. We're going to move on to part B. So I might have to use stuff from part A to help answer this part B question. All right, Brody wants to feed his grapevines 2 more times and his bamboo plants 1 more time. He will use the same amount of plant food as before. How much plant food will he need? Does he have enough left to do so? Explain your answer using words, pictures, or numbers. Okay, so I know that he wants to feed his grapevines 2 more times. So I'm going to organize my paper, starting with grapes. And I know, going back up to the beginning part of the question, all the way at the top, that he feeds his grapes 1 1/3 kilogram each time. So if he's doing it 2 more times, I need to add 1 1/3 twice. So I have 1 1/3, maybe. Okay. 1 1/3 plus 1 1/3. Now I can add starting with my fractions. 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. Ooh, almost said 6. 2/3. 1 plus 1 is 2. So on his grapes, he used a total of 2 2/3 kilograms. But it's not asking just grapes. It wants to know bamboo plants. So bamboo, let's see. It says he only fed his bamboo plants 1 more time. So let's go back up to the top, see how much he feeds his bamboo plants each time. Oh, 1/2 of a kilogram. So I know that he's feeding his bamboo plants with 1/2 a kilogram more. I don't have to do any math. That's good. So now I can see how much he's feeding both plants. So food needed for both plants. We're going to see if we have enough. Let's see. He has to use 2 2/3 kilograms for his grapes, and he has to use 1/2 kilograms for his bamboo. We're seeing how much food he's using for total for both of them, so we're going to add. Ooh, we have thirds and we have halves. We can't add those. So let's make common denominators. We know between 3 and 2, the common denominator is 6. So we have 2 and something over 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So 2 times 2 is 4. Same thing here. 2 times 3 is 6. So 1 times 3 is 3. We can add, starting with the fractions. 4 6 plus 3 6 is 7 6. 2 plus nothing is 2. The numerator is bigger than the denominator, so we can regroup. Take one whole out, so we now have 3 wholes. And if one whole is 6 6, we only need one more 6 to get to 7 6. So I see that he needs 3 1/6 kilograms of food. All right, so this is how much he needs. We're going to look back at the A to see how much food he actually has left. He has 3 11/12 kilograms of food left. So I know he has 3 11/12 kilograms of food left. Sorry. And I'm going to label that as food he has left. Food he has left. Okay. So he has 3 11/12, and I'm sorry that's blurry right now. 3 11/12 of food left. There we go. And we're comparing this to the 3 1/6, but you know what? This is in 12, so let's rewrite this using 12s. I know 6 times 2 equals 12, so 1 times 2 is 2. So we're going to really be comparing it to 3 2/12. And this is how much food he needs, because we just got it from here with how much food he needs. So let's compare. Whole numbers are the same. So now we're comparing 11/12 to 2/12. You know what? 11/12 is bigger. So this is how much food he has left. He needs less food than he has. So he does have enough. Brody has enough food. Awesome. So let's make sure that we answered all parts of the question, because that was a really long part B. The question was, how much plant food will he need? So it says he needs 3 2/12. So we have that here. We have it over here with 3 1/6. So we have answered that question. It's always good to label. That's one reason I labeled it here, food he needs, because that way when we're checking, we know that we've answered that question. Does he have enough food left to do so? We said it right here. Brody has enough food. So we've answered that question. And explain using your answer in words, pictures, and numbers. We definitely used a lot of numbers, and we have food, or we have the words here. All right, so we're going to go to number 2. This one has 3 parts. Brody harvests, which means he's like picking up all the food that's ripe. ready to eat. So Brody harvests the grapes and bamboo in his garden. He picks 6 kilograms less grapes in the morning than the afternoon. So I'm thinking to myself, he picks up less grapes in the morning than the afternoon. Okay, so if Brody picks 1 1/3 kilograms in the morning, how many kilograms of grapes does he pick in the afternoon? Explain your answer using words, pictures, or equations. Well, let's see. We just said that he has picks less grapes in the morning. So if he picks a total of 1 1/3 kilograms, he has to pick more in the afternoon. We need to add. So let's start by adding 1 1/3 because that's how much he picked up in the morning. And we're going to add that to 5 6 because he picks up 5 6 more in the afternoon and less in the morning. So let's start by creating our common denominators, which we know is 6. So 1 and something over 6. 3, oh my goodness, it's all blurry again. There we go. So we know that 3 times 2 is 6. So 1 times 2 is 2. 5 6 is already in 6, so we can leave it as is. Now we can add. Starting with the fraction, 2 6 plus 5 6 is 7 6. 1 plus no holes is 1. So 1 and 7, 6. Oh, but our numerator is bigger than our denominator, so we can actually regroup and add 1 to the whole. So when we add 1 to the whole, we now have 2 wholes. I know that 1 whole is represented as 6 6, and we need 1 more 6 to get to 7 6. So we have 2 and 1/6 kilograms in the afternoon that he picks up. And you know what, just for reference for me, I'm going to put in here grapes in parentheses just so I remember. Excellent. Let's move on to the next one. We might need to go back to part A to help us, but let's see. Brody also picks bamboo from his garden. He picked 3 2/10 kilograms, but 1 4/10 kilograms were rotten and had to be thrown away. How many kilograms of bamboo were not rotten? Write an equation that shows how you reached your answer. Well, I'm kind of getting thrown off because here's fractions and then here's decimals. Well, I know we've been dealing with fractions and I feel like we're going to have to use fractions later. So I'm going to rewrite this 1 4/10 as a fraction. So we have 1.4. The 4 is in the tenths place, so I know that this is equal to 1 and 4 over 10. These two numbers are equivalent. So now let's see. He picked 3 2/10 kilograms, but 1 4/10 were rotten. He had to throw them away. If you're throwing something away, we're usually subtracting. So we picked 3 2/10, throwing away, so subtraction, 1 4/10. All right, let's start by subtracting the fractions. 2/10 minus 4/10, we can't do that. So we're gonna borrow from the whole. So now we're gonna have 2 left because we're borrowing 1. Remember that 1 whole can be represented as 10 tenths. And we're adding the 2 tenths that are already here. So now we have 2 12 tenths. Now we can subtract 1 4 tenths. 12 tenths minus 4 tenths is 8 tenths. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we have 1 8/10 kilograms of bamboo that is not rotten. Awesome. We have one more part and then we are done. So here, should I move it over? Okay. After throwing away the rotten bamboo from the garden, did Brody get more kilograms of bamboo or grapes? How many more kilograms? Explain your answer using the equation. So I'm trying to think back to how many grapes he has. So I'm looking here and I see that my answer from A was 2 1/6 kilograms, but that was just from what he collected in the afternoon. This doesn't include what he also collected in the morning. So what we want to do is add however much he collected in the afternoon plus the amount that he collected in the morning. So we're going to actually be adding 2 1/6 plus the 1/3 he collected in the morning. I'm going to go back down here. Okay, so I like to label to keep my things organized. So I'm going to say we're going to first add the grapes from the morning. So I'm just writing it over here. Add grapes, and sorry, it's blurry. There we go. Add grapes from morning and afternoon. Okay, so we said that he had 2 and 1/6 kilograms. There we go. 2 and 1/6 kilograms that was collected in the afternoon. We're gonna, sorry, it's kind of over. There we go. 2 and 1/6 kilograms added from the afternoon. We're gonna add however much he collected in the morning, which was 1 and 1/3, and we got that from the very top. So now let's create common denominators, which we know is 6. So this 2 and 1/6 can stay the same. Here we have 1 and something over 6. Well, 3 times 2 equals 6. So 1 times 2 is 2. Now we can add, starting with the fractions. 1/6 plus 2/6 is 3/6. 2 plus 1 is 3. So he collected 3 and 3/6 kilograms of grapes. Looking at the problem from before, we know that he collected 1 and 8/10 kilograms of bamboo. So let's compare. Just straighten this up for you. Okay, so we're now going to compare the amount of grapes that he collected, which is 3 and 3/6 kilograms, compared, my underline, to the 1 and 8/10. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. 1 and 8/10 kilograms that he got from the bamboo. All right, so let's see. Well, I don't even have to make common denominators because I can see that 3 wholes is way bigger than 1 whole, so I can see he collected more grapes. So I'm actually going to label this as my grapes, and this is my bamboo. Okay, so I know that he collected more grapes, but look here, it says how many more kilograms. When I first did this, I missed that part and I left it like this, and I'd only get partial credit because I haven't answered the second question. I know that he has more grapes, but how much more? So now we need to subtract. So we're going to subtract the 3 and 3/6 minus 1 and 8/10. All right. So between 6 and 10, I know that my common denominator could be 30. It could be 60 if you wanted. I'm going to use 30. 6 times 5 is 30. So 3 times 5 is 15. 10 times 3 is 30. So 8 times 3 is 24. So now I have my equation as 3 and 15 30ths minus 1 and 24 30ths. Let's see. 15 30ths minus 24 30ths we can't do, so we need to borrow. We're going to write this as 2 plus 30 30ths plus 15 30ths. Okay, 30 30ths plus 15 30ths is 45 30ths. And we have our 2 in front. Now we can subtract 1 and 24 30ths. Starting with the fraction, 45 30ths minus 24 30ths is 21 over 30. And let's see, 2 minus 1 is 1. So he has 1 and 21 30ths kilograms more grapes than bamboo. So let's write that as a sentence. Brody has 1 and 21 30ths kilograms more grapes than bamboo. And you know what? By writing this sentence, I now answered both questions. I said which is more, which of the two he has more of, and how much more. So let's see. Make sure I answer all the questions. Did Brody get more kilograms of bamboo or grapes? We said he has more grapes. How many more kilograms? We see we subtracted, and it was 1 and 21 30ths more kilograms.